Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Craig Melvin's big leap, taking one for the team. Craig Melvin had always been a familiar face on Today, his signature smile and smooth delivery bringing a sense of comfort and consistency to the early morning hours. But in the first month of his new role as a co-host alongside Savannah Guthrie, it quickly became clear that Craig was more than just another TV anchor. His infectious energy, easy rapport with Savannah and Carson daily, and genuine curiosity about the world had already won over both the Today audience and his colleagues. Still, there were challenges ahead for Craig. As the team settled into a rhythm, the show had to confront an upcoming assignment that would take Craig out of the studio and send him all the way to Italy. It was a crisp Thursday morning when Craig first shared the news with his co-hosts. The air in Studio 1A was electric with the usual excitement that comes at the start of a new broadcast. Savannah and Carson sat by his side as they kicked off the day's show. The trio had just wrapped up a segment about the 2026 Milan Cortina Winter Olympic Games, a major event that was already generating global buzz. Savannah, never one to miss an opportunity to tease her co-host, grinned playfully as she turned to Craig. "So, Craig," she said with a raised eyebrow, "big news. You'll be leaving us next week. Where are you headed?" Craig flashed her a wide grin. "Italy," he replied casually, a sense of excitement bubbling just beneath his smooth demeanor. "Taking one for the team." The audience, still reeling from the excitement of the Olympics news, now turned their attention to Craig. The hint of an adventure was palpable, and the team on set quickly followed suit with their own sense of curiosity and humor. Savannah, not missing a beat, chimed in with a wry smile. "He's gonna scope out the scene for us next week," she said, clearly enjoying the playful banter between the three of them. Carson, ever the jokester, leaned forward with a grin. "So, Craig, are you packed and ready to go?" he asked. Craig shrugged nonchalantly, the picture of calm. "I'll be packing this weekend, before the Super Bowl," he said with a chuckle. The audience laughed along, enjoying the lighthearted exchange. It wasn't just any weekend Craig was talking about. This was Super Bowl weekend, one of the biggest sporting events of the year, and for Craig and Savannah, it was personal. The two of them had been locked in a fierce rivalry, one that had spilled over onto the Today set in the days leading up to the big game. While Savannah was a proud supporter of the Philadelphia Eagles, Craig was loyal to his team, the Washington Commanders. As the playoff games unfolded, the stakes grew higher. Savannah and Craig had engaged in spirited banter, each rooting for their respective teams, and it was clear that the losing side would have to pay up. The competition became a talking point for Today viewers, who tuned in each day to see the two anchors spar over game predictions, team statistics, and even their pre-game rituals. Then came the fateful day. The Eagles secured their spot in the Super Bowl, facing off against the Kansas City Chiefs. The news hit the Today set like a bombshell, sending the team into a flurry of laughter, cheers, and good-natured mockery. Savannah had won the bet, but what would Craig's punishment be? The answer came quickly. "Temporary tattoo," Savannah declared on air with a mischievous grin. The audience was equally amused and intrigued by the prospect of Craig following through on his bet. And sure enough, come Monday morning, January 27, Craig stepped onto the set proudly displaying the result of his wager. There, on his neck, was a large temporary tattoo of Savannah's face. The image was comically large and exaggerated, and it immediately became the talk of the show. Craig wore it with good humor, though there was a hint of slight embarrassment in his eyes as he sat beside Savannah, who couldn't help but grin from ear to ear. "Looks like you're stuck with me, Craig," Savannah teased, enjoying the rare moment of victory in their friendly rivalry. Craig laughed it off, rubbing the tattoo as though it were a badge of honor, or perhaps a lesson learned for next year. "I said I'd do it, and I did," he said, making light of the situation. But beneath the surface, it was clear that Craig had embraced the fun side of his role as co-host. This was no ordinary television gig. It was a place to bond with his colleagues, engage with fans, and prove his ability to laugh at himself. For Craig, the tattoo wasn't just a temporary humiliation. It was an initiation into a new chapter of his career. He had recently taken over for Hoda Kotb as a co-host of the Today Show, a job that came with immense responsibility. Craig was fully aware of how big of a shoes Hoda had left behind, but he also understood that this role was more than just a job. It was a chance to connect with viewers and create a lasting impact. And it was clear that Craig was loving every minute of it. He was quickly settling into his position at the Today desk, finding his groove alongside Savannah and Carson. The trio had become a well-oiled machine, each of them bringing their own unique flavor to the show. But just as he was hitting his stride, an on-air slip-up reminded him that even seasoned professionals have their moments of misstep. In the midst of introducing the fourth hour of Today, Craig got a little too carried away with his old routine, calling out, "Stay tuned for Today with Hoda and Jenna." It was a brief moment of confusion, but the audience immediately noticed, and the studio fell silent for a second. Craig paused, realizing his mistake, and quickly corrected himself with a chuckle. "Oops, force of habit," he added. "Jenna and friends," he said, his voice filled with good-natured self-awareness. It was a quick recovery, but the slip-up highlighted the adjustment Craig was still making to his new role. Jenna Bush Hager, who co-hosted the fourth hour with rotating guest co-anchors, was one of the most beloved figures on the show. But with Hoda's departure and Jenna's rotating cast of famous co-hosts, including stars like Eva Longoria and Scarlett Johansson, the Today Show was entering a new era, one in which even the most experienced anchors had to adapt to the changes. Yet Craig's willingness to embrace these challenges was part of what made him so relatable. He was unafraid of making mistakes and taking things in stride, and that humility was endearing to both the audience and his colleagues. As he prepared to leave for Italy, heading to Milan Cortina to cover the Winter Olympics, Craig couldn't help but reflect on how far he had come. The Today Show was a big family, and Craig had quickly become an integral part of it. He wasn't just a host on the show. He was a team player, always ready to support his colleagues and take on new adventures. So, as he packed his bags and prepared for his Italian adventure, Craig knew he was taking on something bigger than just another assignment. He was taking one for the team, showing up for his co-hosts, the audience, and himself. And in doing so, he was proving that sometimes, even the most seasoned anchors have to take risks, make bets, and get a tattoo or two along the way. Here's to Italy, the Super Bowl, and whatever comes next, Craig thought as he zipped up his suitcase, excited for the next chapter of his journey on the Today Show. Come back to our channel for all your updates. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.